Hi, thanks for using my Court Coach. I'm Sarah and I'll be your instructor as we talk about the Notice of Activation of Military Service and Deployment and request to modify a support order. When would you use this form? If you are active duty military and you have a support obligation or are receiving support payments and you are being deployed out of state, you have an opportunity to request a review and possible modification of the support order before you deploy. If you will be experiencing a change in income based upon your call to active duty, your support order may be modified accordingly. In order to start the process, you need to fill out this form, attach the appropriate documentation, which I will be reviewing with you, file the packet with the court, and serve the form on the other party. If possible, the court will schedule a hearing date on the matter prior to your date of deployment. If the court is unable to hear the matter prior to your deployment, you will have 90 days from the date you return from deployment to request that a hearing be scheduled, or you will lose the right to change the support order retroactively. If your modification is approved, it will be effective on the same day that this form was served on the other party or your date of deployment, whichever is later. As with all court forms, you want to start off by filling in the identifying case caption information at the top. Line 1, you will list the name of the other party that this form is being served upon. Line 2, you will get a hearing date, time, and location where the hearing will be heard from the court clerk. Address of court, it will either be the same as noted above, or if there's a different address, you would list it here. The box that's titled Order Shortening Time will be filled in by the clerk. If they are able to expedite the hearing, then they will make that clear in this box. Page 2 of this form is where you provide your reasoning for the modification. Line 5, you identify what sort of support order that you're seeking to modify, whether that's child support, spousal support, or family support. 5C, identify who is the support being paid by currently, whether that is the petitioner, the respondent, or other parent. 6A has you identify whose deployment is this request being based upon, petitioner, respondent, or other parent. Along with this form, you will want to attach financial disclosure forms that show the court what your income is. That can either be the Simplified Financial Statement, which is Form FL-155, or the Income and Expense Declaration, which is Form FL-150. If this is a request to modify spousal support, you need to include Form FL-150. FL-155 will not suffice. You also want to attach a copy of the deployment, the Notice of Deployment, and you can see in line 7A, you need to list the date that the deployment takes effect, as well as attach a copy of the order of the deployment. 7B would have you list the duration of the activation. If you know that, please list it here. This form, your financial disclosure, will also need to be served with blank responsive forms to the other party. This includes the responsive declaration to order to show cause form or notice of motion, Form FL-398, as well as blank financial disclosure forms for the other party to fill out. Again, that can be an FL-155 or an FL-150, but if the request is to modify spousal support, it does need to be an FL-150. Field 9 asks you to check all that apply. 9A, if you are going to be receiving any sort of supplemental pay from your employer, you would check this box, specify the amount, and then attach any sort of proof of that. If you will not be receiving any sort of supplemental pay from your employer, you would mark box 9B. If you do not know at this time if you'll be receiving supplemental military pay, mark 9C. If there's any other source of income that you have, you need to mark box D, list the amount, and attach proof. For instance, if you receive rental income, you will want to attach a profit and loss statement showing the court how much that is and how that's determined. If there is an agreement that spousal support cannot be modified or terminated, you will want to mark box 10 and attach a copy of that agreement. If there's any other facts that you think the court needs to be made aware of, mark box 11 and explain in the space provided what those facts are. If this is not enough space for you, you're always welcome to attach a sheet of paper, write facts in support of the request continued at the top of it, and attach it to this pleading. You will have an address where you can receive mail while you're deployed. Please list that address in line 12. If you want to waive your right to personally appear at the hearing, which is your right under the Service Members Civil Relief Act, mark box 11. Tally up the number of pages from all those attachments we discussed, list the number of pages attached in line number 14, sign and date this form. Pages 3 through 5 provide additional instructions on how to fill out this form, and you're welcome to look at those at your own leisure. I hope you found this helpful. Good luck.